Today I wanted to go over some of the more affordable options that I've discovered while keeping tarantulas and isopods and things over the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, whatever it's been. However long I've been doing this as a hobby, and, well, the last probably 3-4 years as a business as well. So, first and foremost, I have the Temu enclosures, which I don't actually mind all that much. They have a... I'm going to slide this over just so we can kind of see a little bit better. This side opens, which I find very helpful when I'm dealing with more of a bolty species or a spider that just doesn't want to cooperate. Like, for instance, this Lasiodora difficilis, who likes to kind of try and get very food aggressive and come flying out. So that's one of them. That's just one of the various sizes I use. This is another one for more of a 1.5 to 3 inch leg span spider size. It has the same style. They can be a bit of a pain when they're new. Frontal opening. The full top opens up if you need to for easier access. And they do make a taller, deeper version that I like to use for arboreal species and or fossorial species if I need to make the substrate super deep for somebody that wants to burrow down. These come in very handy. The other ones that I like to use a lot if I'm in a pinch and I don't have any of my Temu containers sitting around are these. These are just shoebox containers from Dollarama. Just a standard dollar store. These come in other various sizes. Usually I do get the clear lids, just so that I like to see where the spider is when I go to open it. But with this Amphipalma seamani, I'm not too worried. Not very fast. Not going to try and bolt out as soon as I open the enclosure or eat my face or anything crazy. So the other thing with these is they come in various sizes. I just use this one because it's easier to stack with my other animal or bin styles and things. They do come smaller. I use these ones a lot for isopods too when I'm in a pinch if I don't have any of my gasket bins laying around. I also use these for my quarantine tubs, whether it be for my crabs, which we've seen in other videos, or my isopod new imports, things like that. I will keep them in smaller containers like this temporarily until they get to a large enough colony where I can upgrade them, or I'm not worried about them having anything wrong or not breeding and not eating, things like that. So these are super handy too. Usually very cost efficient, and they're readily available is my biggest thing. Whereas the Temu containers, like these, they're also super cost efficient. They just take a while to get here usually, which can be really make it more difficult if you're not prepared ahead of time, if you've done like an impulse purchase or you weren't noticing that an animal grew larger faster than you thought it was going to. So as far as keeping these animals, I like to keep them on, I use a black earth substrate, like what this girl is on. Just it's organic compost basically. If you want to use organic compost, just make sure it's organic. I get it at Home Depot or Lowe's if you're from the States, or a garden center for that matter. It's usually a lot cheaper than buying the Zilla mix or the Zoomed mix or Exoterra. I also like it because it doesn't dry out as readily as cocoa fiber does. If it's a more arid species, I will mix cocoa fiber into the black earth just to make it more loamy and easier to dry out. But it does kind of compact reasonably well and holds a relatively good amount of moisture, as you can see on my fingers there. By no means does this mean that I don't use things like these tarantula cribs or this Zoomed enclosures that you've seen in videos, or the Thrive enclosures that I've used in other videos, or Exoterra for that matter. This is more just affordability. These are drastically more than what these are going to cost me. And when I'm dealing with hundreds of tarantulas at a time, sometimes I can't afford to spend $25 on a sling crib for my whichever sling I have that needs an upgrade. So I'll use something, not one of these, but you can also use like deli containers, margarine containers, things like that, salad bar containers, whichever you come across. Clean it really well, super easy to work with. Soldering iron to poke some holes if you choose. But honestly, cost efficiency is key, especially when you're keeping lots of animals. I know it's difficult at times. I know these aren't beautiful. Nothing like these, don't get me wrong. I use these a lot for my display type animals. If I'm going to have them on display in my living room or wherever else in my house, they're going to be in something like this. This is going to be strictly for my reptile room or my abundance of animals that aren't on display for everyone that comes over to see. So I hope that helps, guys. If you want to check out one of those videos that I was talking about previously, check right here. I'll link one in the end of the video.